Hello, and welcome to another episode of this beautiful sunset overlooking the future town, city, metropolis of Marseille, the oldest continuously inhabited city in France. And we are going to rebuild it. And last episode we were very slow getting started. But this episode we're not going to be slow. We're going to start on pausing right away as we watch the sun say goodbye. And it is night, and we're going to go find our villagers. Where are you, villagers? Ooh, I hear them. Can't really see them. There's one. I hear bees. Hopefully there's lots of honey. Who's this? Isabelle. Hello, Isabelle. Isabelle is not a name that you come across in this game. I've been changing some of the names to be French, in the spirit of Marseille. Marseille. I still haven't looked at the pronunciation of it. But this is actually Massalia, which is what the Greeks called it. And Isabelle is sleeping outside next to a rock because we do not have suitable housing for our people. And they're probably mad. Yes. 100% of our people do not have housing. But we're still a happy people. So, because it's summer, it's 19 degrees out, so even if they had huts, they would probably be sleeping outside tonight anyway, because it's just one of those nights. One of those nights after the Ice Age. Ooh, look at all these people. All of these cold people sleeping. Oh, she's having fun. Uta. Uta is making the most of this situation. This guy looks like he needs to use the washroom. What's your name? Toke. Oh, he wants to have a toke. Stretching your shoulder, that's good. What are you assigned to? You are a gatherer. We have lots of gatherers at the moment. Yes, everybody get up. Up, 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 up. We have lots to do today. Get up. Up, everyone. We need straw. We need plant fiber. We need wood. We need food. We need all the things. And we need clams. I still haven't seen any clams, and I desperately want to see some clams. So let's get some clam digging going, guys. After we build these houses, we should get clams. I had to sleep in the open. So they're complaining a bit, but that's okay. I don't blame them. It's not fun to sleep in the open, especially we had it pretty good in our old village up until the animals died off. Once the animals were gone, things got a bit tough. But we persevered, we packed up our things, and now here we are. in the beautiful, beautiful Marseille region of France. There are a lot of great locations that I want to try out eventually in France and other areas on the map. Denmark, you can play most of Denmark. Norway, the UK. I don't think you can play Ireland. Maybe you can play parts of Ireland. But the devs are expanding the whole map. I think their plan is to cover, well, all of Asia, Europe, Africa, and then hopefully North and South America too. Because I would love to play a North American game. I think that'd be cool. We have these little shallows here, which are good for clams. Very good for clams. They might even count as freshwater lakes, which would be good. Maybe there are some reeds that we could access. The border is right here, so this is the border of the playable region. Very close to the edge here. But this is the limit of our city. Our city will be over here, kind of where this rock is. Eventually we're going to build walls. We're going to have a wall covering this whole area, and a gate letting people in through here. But right here, this was the main gate in Greek Marseille. Greek Marseille. This was the gate here. So we're going to have a gate right here. And this will be the main road. So this road stretched all the way along the coast. So we're going to have a road coming up along here, all the way to the edge. It's going to be a large settlement. Well, if it's going, I mean, the Greek settlement was obviously huge. The Greek settlement covered all of this area, and right now we're over here. This is our little chunk of ancient Marseille. But hopefully we'll spread out the houses and we can hopefully spread through most of this harbor area. At least I would like to cover this whole coastline with things, with houses. So we're going to have a huge settlement. That's the goal. Once we get farming, we can just blow up our population, is my hope. When we don't have to rely on hunting and berries. That is the goal. Okay, everybody's working very hard. Thank you. Now, of course, all Greek cities had the agora. The agora was the main center of the town, and a very important location. It's where the markets were, it's where the political decisions were made, trials, it's where trials were held. And so I think the agora, well, this area is going to be the theater right here. Ooh, we had a death. Uta, we were just looking at Uta. Oh, she's dead. Our first death after migrating to this new land. Look. And she slept outside. Didn't even have a hut for her final night. But she did get to see that beautiful sunset on the coast. So you can't say that Uda did not get to experience something great before she passed. We will miss Uta. We will miss her. I'm sure she's being carried out to the makeshift cemetery, future theater. This will be our theater. The Rock. And so the theater will be there, and then in the actual layout of the Greek Massalia, The theater was around there, where this rock is. And then the agora was up a bit. Like maybe here. But since we want to build long across the coast, I'm going to indulge a bit. And I'll probably move the agora to down here. So like around here. And then these, it's hard to call them hills. See, when the Greeks founded Marseille, there was the hills were a bit higher here because the land obviously had formed a bit more, formed up the crust. So these hills were a bit more pronounced, and the Greeks built temples all along these hills. So we're going to build religious sites on these hills too, even though they're more like slumps than hills, but it'll still look nice. That is a big rock. That is a very big rock, and we hope to turn that rock into a temple of some sort. So we'll have temples going along here, and we're going to try to recreate the Greek city as close as we can, while also keeping in mind that we are 5,000 years before the Greeks. There were civilizations at this point in time, but not in France. So we are ahead of the game a bit here in terms of our dreams and our ambitions. But we'll try our best. We still got lots of resources over here. This is where we landed, where we plopped down. So are those nuts? Oh hey, maybe we will have lots of chestnuts here, or hazelnuts. That's good. Our people are accustomed to hazelnuts. They've helped us survive the last 4,000 years and a bit. But we need clams. Clams are going to be the new thing to eat. So our people need to eat them, collect them. They probably have come across clams, but they're kind of like, what are these things? A horse. There are horses along the coast. A beautiful horse, a wild horse. In Dawn of Man, they had different types of horses. Wild horses and then feral horses. I don't think we're at that point. Be cool if they had donkeys. I like donkeys. What is this? Oh, it's a dog. We're not hunting dogs in this game. You'll be happy to know. We didn't really hunt dogs in this tribe at all since I started playing this game. There was a period when all of the animals were hunted. We did start hunting dogs when things got desperate and we needed pelts. But at that point, the people were so disgusted with themselves that they said, it's time to migrate. Go where the herds are greater, because we don't want to eat doggies. We want to domesticate them. And I don't think there's a domestication feature yet in this game, but maybe we'll uncover it in the Neolithic. That would be amazing. I want dogs to protect our settlement. Do we have any huts? Ooh, we got a pelt hut up already? How did that happen? Oh no, not yet. But we're coming along. That's good. No straw huts yet. What is the holdup with the straw huts? What is the issue? Not enough rope. But we are making rope. We have some plant fiber. Is there any way to prioritize plant fiber any more than I already am? Well, we have it up one priority, but we're going to knock it up to double. Straw, we're doing good. Let's lower the demand for straw, because we already got enough for one house. Ooh, and we're getting reeds. Yes! So there are reeds here. That is really good. I was worried that there were not going to be any reeds because we don't have any rivers. But I guess... Why is it... This is a reed, isn't it? Ooh, and we're getting pine nuts. We didn't have pine nuts in my last settlement. So that is a new food. That's cool. Reeds, yes. So we are getting reeds. Oh, that's so good. I wonder where they're getting them from. There are a couple of, like, springs. And actually, in the actual ancient city of Marseille, they had a spring. That is how they got their water, for the most part. Because the river was actually more of like an estuary, so it wasn't a freshwater river. It was kind of brackish. So they got their water from the spring. And the spring was on the peninsula. Look at that sunrise. Like the graphics in this game, they're amazing. Rising over our small little village. Look, everybody is so upset. Everybody is so unhappy. We might end up losing people, and I hope we haven't really lost anyone this whole game. My tribe has not lost anyone. We had a few people threaten to leave, but nobody left. But I hope if people leave, it's the old people. Because we have 11 old people, and they complain more often, and they also are less productive in general. And right now I can't even make them work harder or longer hours because the chief, who is very old himself, he will not let me. The red means that the chief will not let me change this policy. So I cannot increase the age of people who can work, which is a shame. It means that there's a bunch of old people just sitting around complaining about not having a house and then not doing anything about it. So that's a lot of these sad faces. So I hope if people leave, it's them. Or that they just keep dying like Uda did. It was good of Uda to die, I think, in the end. Because she was just a burden. But hopefully when this guy dies, we can get a chief who's younger, and then we can immediately increase the labor age and get our old people working. Because we have a lot of work to do rebuilding a settlement. It's not an easy thing to do. So let's go, people. Come on. Get all this done. We got tons of hay, but they don't load. They do everything in order, so they don't. If you haven't satisfied the first requirement for a house, which is sticks, then they won't load the rope or the straw. And so in this case, we still need one more stick. And then they'll load the ropes. But this one, they've already loaded the sticks on this one. And they've loaded 4 out of 5 ropes, but they're waiting for one more, and then they'll load the straw. And then on this one, where are we at with this one? Still need a lot more sticks. So I brought like 200 sticks on the migration. So where did they all go? Well, the fireplaces do take up a lot of sticks. And then we are also using sticks, or is it fine sticks for these tents? Yeah, the tents take fine sticks, but they also require raw stone, which I did not bring on the migration. Because realism, you would not migrate across southern France with a bunch of stones, especially during the Stone Age when there are just piles of stones everywhere. So we have to collect the stones to build these tents, but the stones, you do not need stones for the straw huts, only the pelt huts. The housing, it seems like the best bang for buck on housing is the straw huts, these round straw huts, because straw is very easy to come by, and it requires regular sticks, not fine sticks, and fine sticks you need to spend time crafting in order to make. So the huts are better because the straw huts are better because you can just go get sticks and immediately use them to build, and the straw is everywhere. And once we get into the Neolithic farming times, we will be creating straw from our grain, and then that will make it double easy. So straw is much easier than pelts, which you have to hunt first, and then you have to collect the pelts, and then you have to put the pelts on the tanners, and the tanners take a very long time to finish. A very long time. And they also take a lot of resources to build, so you can't build too many of them. And so it's just much easier to build these straw huts because easier materials to come by, other than the rope. In my last game, rope was very hard to come by. But there are a few tribes that you can raid or trade rope from. I haven't really done much trading in this game with this tribe, mostly because the items that are in demand by these other tribes, I don't have them. This guy wants grain, some kind of grain, flax grain, wheat grain. And there was no wheat grain here. This is where I was before the migration. And there was absolutely no wheat grain, no flax grain. I also didn't really have the tools to properly gather those grains, so there was just no grain over here. But hopefully we'll have some grain here. Oh look, we have clams! That's good. So now we have clams. I'm glad to see that. They will hopefully replenish our dwindling hazelnuts. And we also got pine nuts, so that's good. So yes, the tribes, they demand things that I don't have, so I can't really trade with them. But I'm hoping now that I'm on the coast, a lot of these tribes are demanding... Well, see, these guys are demanding bifaces, and I do have the technology to produce bifaces, and they only require flint, so which seems to be quite plentiful. So I could trade with those guys. I don't want to trade any of my pelts away to these people. These people want honey, but I don't have a lot of honey in my last settlement. Maybe in this settlement. I've heard a lot of bees, so I'm hoping that means that there's a lot of honey. Bifaces, I could trade with these people. Bremas, they want dried fish, and a lot of these tribes up here want dried fish. These guys want dry fish. These guys want dry fish. They want... Ooh. They want flint spears, which I just recently acquired the technology for, and I've made 35 of them. And I have 35 people. But not everyone needs a flint spear, because I also have axes and wooden spears and bone knives and bifaces and fishing harpoons. So I could sell my flint spear to Yos. I think that's how you would say that. Yos. And then they will give me rope, which I need a lot of. I raided them once, so they might not like me, but I haven't come across any any real consequences of raiding. Doesn't seem like it affects your ability to trade with them. So should we do that? Yeah. Let's send one person, hopefully an old person. Maybe 2 old people. But see, it probably counts as work, so the old people won't join. So, ugh, I don't like that. I don't like these moochers, these freeloaders after a migration. Like, I get that you're old and things hurt, but we just moved to a new place, and it's the Stone Age, and you're not helping. Who are these people? These are not old people. No, look at that. See, they could be building tents. So do I want to send them now, or do I want to leave them where they are? Let's see. Oh, I guess we'll send them because we need the rope, and like we could be waiting forever for them to make ropes. There, they're picking up some spears to take with them. So if we trade 5 spears, how many rope will we get? I don't know, but it'll help us build these huts. I'll bet you that we'll still be waiting for these huts to be built by the time that those 2 get back from their quest. So yes, they will go all the way up here to the very northern reaches of this chunk of France. See, the landscape here is just so accurate. So accurate. Like, I've looked at maps. I really have. And they are so accurate with these river systems. Obviously, they only have the big river systems. They don't have all the rivers. So that could be, it could be a dev, could be that that's coming later, that level of detail on more rivers. But like, there'd be a lot of little mini rivers here, and if you were to plop yourself in an area that isn't on one of these main rivers, you can almost bet that there's not going to be a river there when it loads. So I don't think that there are smaller rivers in existence yet. But I'm sure that that's coming. Or it could also be that, given the age that we're in, they're just, those smaller rivers have not emerged yet. So yeah, I don't know. But I wouldn't be surprised if it's that, if it's the latter, because the devs really have paid attention to erosion of coastlines. A couple of my very, very early games, I started on the coast, and I was forced to move right away because we got a warning saying things were going to flood. And then if you look, if you zoom out on the map, you can see, if you fast forward 500 years, that coastline has now been covered in water, because after the glaciers receded, there was a lot of up and down with the coastlines as the water levels balanced off after the melting. So and then you had the Mediterranean, which was still filling up. A lot of these, like this whole area today, right here, where is it? Right here. All this flat land, this bowl surrounded by these hills, this is all a lake, or like a bay, a saltwater bay. Marshes. All of that there. All of that is water. And you can see now, when I started this playthrough in like 10,000 BC, these little lakes did not exist, and this bay here did not exist. This was all coast right here. And now you can see that it's filling in. And 2,000 years from now, that'll all be water. Our traders have stopped. Oh, now they're moving again. They stop overnight. The traders don't. Nobody does anything at night. Which makes sense. So our traders are going, and they're bringing 5 spears with them to trade, and I hope that they bring back a lot more than 5 rope, because we need 5 rope per hut. But we are getting, look, we got more plant fiber, so I think we should probably prioritize crafting, and we're only going to make rope for a while. Rope and fine sticks. No, we're not going to make wooden spears. We don't need bone knives, we have a ton of them. We won't make axes. We'll make harpoons because fish is just everywhere. Bifaces. We set the limit for the production limit. You can adjust the production limit for these tools here. So the limit for these is pretty low, so we'll leave it there. And we won't make any more spears for a while. So cut that, and then hopefully that means we can focus on ropes. Ropes and fine sticks. You got lots of fine stones, that's very good. You can speed it up a bit. But yeah, the map is very, 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 very good. And I'm really grateful that they spent so much time on the terrain, because I find with a lot of these historic builder games, you can't build on the hills. It's impossible to build anything on the hills. All the buildings, they just won't let you even place the tiles down on a hill. And Life is Feudal was good because you could terraform. And of course, even in the prehistoric times, people were terraforming. We know that. Building mounds and flattening off the tops of hills to create plateaus. So we know that those things were happening. But it's been hard to find a game where you can do that kind of realistic building, because most of when we find prehistoric settlements, they're usually atop hills, because it made sense for defensive purposes to put your settlement on a hill, so that anybody attacking you has to run uphill to do so, and it just makes it that much easier to defend. So the settlements that really took off and survived were the ones that built above ground, above water level, also avoiding things like floods. So this game allows you to do that. And I want to play a hilly game. I want to build on a hill, maybe Dumbarton Rock. I think that'd be cool in Scotland. There's also, I think, Edinburgh would be cool if you built, because Edinburgh is kind of on a big volcanic hill. That would be really cool, but I definitely want to build a hill fort. That would be, I think, super duper cool. Oh, and we're almost done of this hut. They're starting to put that straw on. That's very, very good. Very good to see. There's actually a really good spot that I want to go to. It actually exists in real life. Right here. This is called Sisteron. Sisteron in French. It's a citadel. It was built in the 1700s, I think. But it overlooks this really cool mountain on this side here. And then the citadel is right over here, but it's also on a mountain. And you have a minor river that flows here, but it doesn't exist. I already checked it out. But you have a plateau on top of this hill, and you have a multiple tiers, multiple layers of the hill with little plateaus on them, so it's perfect for building a hill fort, I think. So I would like to maybe play a game over there. That would be really cool. An alpine fort kind of playthrough. Also, I'd like to build like at a junction of these rivers here. I think this is Lyon, France. So we could build there. There's just so many possibilities. Spain's over here. Could build in Spain. Eventually we'll have Italy over here. Italy will be opened up, and that will be so cool. We'll have to play Rome, of course. Rome and the Greek city-states, I think that'd be cool. Building on the Euphrates and the cradle. The Fertile Crescent, that would be cool. So many possibilities. Since they've decided to be close to accurate with these maps, there are just so many possibilities for replays and scenarios, RPGing. Lots of stuff. So I'm really excited about this game. I know that it had bad reviews, but I think that we're past that now. And we can skip through the night, which is good, because nothing really happens at night. Our people are still unhappy. Still no housing. Ooh, there is rose hips. That is good. I don't know where they are, but there are rose hips. They're very easy food to get. So that's going to help us. Yeah, food. I don't think food's going to be an issue here. There's lots to gather. We're not used to having this much plant material. We didn't have a lot of plant material in the last settlement location. We're collecting a lot of stones, and I don't want all that stone, so we're gonna stop collecting stone. Don't collect stone. A lot of this game is resource management, but I like that. If you're going to play this game, you better be a fan of city building and resource management and intricate economy building, because that is big in this game, and it was big in prehistoric times, of course, too. I can't wait to build the walls along the beach. They didn't have the walls right up on the shore. They had the walls back a bit, and the actual settlement was up here. So we really aren't going to be building much beyond this area here, this beach. This beach is probably the limit. So yeah, we're not going to move closer down. We just want to be close to the beach so that people can dig for clams and fish. And I wish that we could build boats in this game. That would be amazing. And build harbor buildings. I don't think there are any fishing wharfs or anything like that that we can build, but that would, of course, be amazing. And I think this game is pretty mod friendly, so we might see lots of buildings get modded, and I will definitely play those. I love this. I just love this landscape. I love this harbor, this natural harbor area. I think it's just the cutest in this island. And we got some lakes and marshes over here. This might be where the reeds are. Yeah, I think there's some reeds here. There's some fishies. So this is probably like a little estuary lake kind of thing. And this is eventually going to fill in with water as the millennia pass. But I think if you're settling in a land, the landscape will not change over time. I think it's only if you migrate to a land, then at the point that you plop in, that's constantly updating up until you plop in, and then time kind of freezes unless you migrate out and then migrate back later. I'm curious to know, because I built some walls and stuff in my last settlement, and you don't tear everything down when you're migrating, you just kind of abandon it. So I'm really curious to know, if I went back to that exact spot, would I be able to see my old fortress foundations, the walls that I built, not the tents and stuff, but the stone buildings that I created. Oh, look at these lights. I love that. The lights of the fireplaces. Everybody's unhappy. Oh, look at you. You're pregnant and you're sleeping outside. That is That is wrong. That's wrong. Can't sleep, too pregnant. Sonora. I like that name. Oh, there you go. You're sleeping now. The game's very laggy. I don't know if that's my system or if that's the name. We unlocked a new achievement. Population of 35. We already had that achievement. So why are we getting it again? I don't know. There's still some little things that are going wrong with this game, of course. But for the most part, given all the negative reviews that I had read about this game, I am very impressed with it. I'm just blown away by the maps. The maps, I mean, this game could be as buggy as it wants, as long as it gives me good landscapes to build on. Because it's something that I've wanted for years in a city builder, and this has finally given it to me. There's still lots of room for improvement too, but this has really taken mapping and terrain up a notch. Way ahead of Dawn of Man. Dawn of Man, the maps were not fun. Not fun for replays. There wasn't enough variation. Here, like, you can switch. Like, right now we're playing on the Mediterranean, but we could play in the north of Scandinavia. We could play in Doggerland, the continent that disappeared. We can play there. There's just so many different cool possibilities. You can play on a island that used to be connected to the land, and you know, you can start off by migrating back and forth, but then eventually you're going to get stuck on that island and you won't be able to migrate anymore. So there are just lots of cool possibilities like that that you can choose to replay. So I think this game is going to really have a lot of lasting power, which is good. I like seeing everybody doing their jobs. It's what I loved about Life is Feudal, is you could zoom in, see the people at work, using their spears to fish. Where did the other one go? Whatever. What are you doing? Oh, you're fishing too. The leaves are falling. We're into autumn. Look at that. And just those little details like that, like the leaves falling from the sky, which is not very realistic, but a pit is ready to use. We're going to put in this pit clams, I think. No, we'll put nuts in here, because the nuts are already old. We brought them from our last settlement, so we should probably get those stored into something better than the ground. And a hole in the ground is apparently better than the ground, so they will go in there, and then the next pit we'll put clams, because I know clams are going to eventually take off. I'm not going to put meat or fish in the pits because we created drying racks, and the drying racks are going to turn the meat and fish into dried meat and dried fish, which will last a lot longer. But at least in my last settlement, the fish and meat didn't last long enough. We didn't collect enough of it. It was always eaten right away because the people like the meat products. So we didn't dry much of it, and then it didn't last. Even when it did get dried, it was eaten right away. So I don't want to dedicate any pits for meats because they're not really designed for the meats, and we have better places for the meats. The other two are still being built. The building interface I'm really not a fan of. I would love to see a modder improve all of this, because like the way it's laid out plus the lagging is just not at all what I want. in life. Another morning. Another morning and we still have no huts. Is this like day 3? Day 3. And like 60 years have passed. This time clock moves a lot faster. Oh no, we do have our houses built. That's, yeah, we had a house built last night. That's good. 2 of them. 2 of them were built so that 8 of our people had a place to sleep. That's good. And then there's lots of fireplaces around, so I'd say these sad faces are going to... Ooh! A group of migrants has arrived. Oh, just one. Her name is Aymara. I think Aymara is the name of somebody else in our tribe. So we're going to have to change her name. But we'll accept you, yes. Hopefully you have the Neolithic culture. Because, yes you do. You have the Atlantic Neolithic. And look, there's Atlantic Neolithic, so that implies that eventually there's going to be like a Pacific Neolithic, which is cool. Your name is Aymara, but we already have one, so we're going to call you Anne, a very French name, Anne. Stripping dead deer. Okay, Anne. Anne of France, of Marseille. France, of course, doesn't exist at this time as a political unit. Egypt exists right now. I think Egypt was like 10,000 BC and onwards. We have another pit, so we're going to dedicate that to a foods. Which other food are we racking up? See, the clams are not going up as fast as I thought. Maybe just because people are discovering that they are delicious clams, and so they're being eaten. But look, meat is kind of just staying there. Oh, I don't think I've assigned the racks for these things. Okay, so this will dedicate to rose hips. And this one will dedicate to pine nuts, maybe? No, we'll dedicate it to clams, I guess. Pine nuts. We'll dedicate it to pine nuts. Until we see clams going up. I'm clicking on you. Oh, wrong thing. That's the storage interface. Okay. That's good. So we got our fires up. We got our huts up. These, are they finished? Yes. So one of you will be for dried fish. And this one will be for dried meat. We still haven't created our offerings, and that's probably bumming people out because these people do want their religion. So we're going to increase the priority of these. And did they bury Uda yet? I hope Uda was buried. Uda and, oh yeah, somebody else died, didn't they? Yeah, because there's two covered graves, which means 2 people have been buried. I can't remember who the other person who died was. So that means our total elderly population should be still 11, so somebody else must have aged. But now we have 3 children. We started with 2. Nobody's pregnant. When you don't have enough housing space, people will not get pregnant as often. So we need to get our housing up. Well, if we finish this first batch of houses, we should build new ones. So let's do that. More straw huts. There are these giant straw huts, but it's double the rope, almost double the sticks, and double the straw. And you only get 2 extra people. But all 6 of the residents there will get a plus 16 sleeping boost, like sleep satisfaction boost, I guess it is. Whereas the circular straw huts only give you a 1% boost. The reed huts give you a 16% boost, so that's good. But they take a stone, they take stone and they take reeds, which are just difficult to get. These things nobody likes. This is a negative. The tents, I think, are still a negative, or they might be +1. Minus 13, so the tents aren't terrible, but they take leather. So I don't think we're going to build these big straw huts. The big reed hut, I don't know. We'll see if reeds go up. I wasn't expecting us to have any reeds, but it looks like we're getting some reeds. We got 4. Got lots of plant fiber, so rope isn't going to be an issue, which is good. Our pelt tanners are up. Yeah, so we'll build more straw huts. Straw huts in our village. There we go. We're going to be spreading out too. I don't want everything to be clustered around, but in these early days, I think it makes sense to cluster a bit. There, and we have some meats going on the racks. That's good. I like the look, and I love being able to zoom in and see your meats drying on the rack. Are people hunting yet? I guess they are, because we're getting meat. I want to watch a hunter do their job, because the hunting is fun to watch. I'm going to get rid of this storage interface for a second, because it's just annoying me. Let's follow a hunter. By the way, if you want to see me explain things, I'm kind of trying to explain everything, but if there are specific things that you want me to explain, let me know. Taking the meats to the rack. Talking around the fire. Ooh, is she wearing antlers? Look at that. Cool. Oh, she's the new leader. Oh, so the chief died. Ooh, does that mean that we can change our policies? Yes. See, she will allow us to increase our labor age a bit, which is amazing, and our labor time. I'm going to do both of those things. Oh, that's good. Our 72-year-old chief, he was very much against old people working. But our new chief, Rona, she is at 65, and she's like, I don't want to retire. I think working is good for me. And it's good for the tribe. And this guy is at the city limits, doing some fishing. I wish you could designate zones for fishing, because I noticed that these people will spread out like crazy, and I don't think they should have to spread out that much. Like you could have them much more condensed, and there should be plenty of fish in these waters. So I don't get that. But whatever. How far this way can we go? We can't go very far that way. We reached the limits. We can go very far back, which is good. Because there's... I think we're going to need this backwood area for hunting to keep the animals repopulating. So we're not going to touch these backwoods other than to hunt in them. We'll stop there for this episode, but thank you for tuning in. I hope you're liking the Let's Play series so far, and come back. We'll have another episode up as soon as I get back to it, because I love this game. I plan on spending a lot of hours on it, and I hope you will join me for that. So thanks for watching. Have a good night. Bye.